What's up, Tan and J-Man Show Nation? This is Tanner Lee, one half of the Tan and J-Man Show. And on behalf of myself and my co-host, Josh the J-Man Munt, we want to thank you for listening to our podcast. While you're at it, on whatever platform you're listening on, please hit that subscribe button. And if it happens to be on Apple Podcasts, please give us a rating and review. That really helps us out. If you're interested in watching our show is recorded live every Monday from 6:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch that on the ISC Sports Network, on the free ISC Sports Network app, on the ISC Sports Network Facebook page, and their Twitter page. While you're at it, on those social media channels, please give us a like on our Facebook page. Please give us a follow on our Twitter and Instagram page at Tan and J-Man Show. And if you want to support our podcast and look great doing so, we have a merchandise store. You can go to any of our social media pages, click the link, click Tan and J-Man Show store, and you'll find whatever you're looking for. Short sleeve t-shirts, long sleeve t-shirts, coffee mugs, you name it, we got it. So thanks again for supporting the podcast. Now sit back, relax, and here comes another exciting brand new episode of the Tan and J-Man Show.
We're back with another episode of the Tan and J-Man Show on this dreary Monday night. It's supposed to be warm out, but here it is, 52 degrees and rainy. Hope everyone's Monday weather is better than ours here. How you doing tonight there, T-Dog?
You pretty much named it. It's been a kind of depressing, dreary day last couple days weather-wise, but that's part of it, even though April showers are supposed to bring May flowers and haven't really seen a lot of Mayflowers yet.
Do you look for Mayflowers?
What about moment I look around, see what's going on out there in the world?
See what's happening in other people's
have
gardens.
A lot of weeds growing,
yeah.
I'll tell you that much.
You used to have a nice garden in your backyard, but then for some reason...
Then I bought the house.
Tanner just decided to not grow anything out there, you know? Your good friend Josh likes himself some tomatoes.
Well, you buy them, I'll plant them. Whoa, how about we just get them off of one of our sponsors?
Yeah,
better yet,
Noble Gnome LLC.
Yeah, that would be better. I trust them more than I trust either one of us.
Yeah, we're not big.
We don't have green thumbs.
No, we're not very good at things, to be honest.
We can talk sports.
Yes, but. Got a good show on tap here. We have a Kentucky Derby winner that tested positive for a performance enhancer. We have a failed professional athlete continuing to try to be a professional athlete. We got some baseball talk. We have a good trivia question I'm sure Tanner has in the holster here. We got word association.
We got merchandise.
We got merchandise. Go check out the teespring.com. Is it /Tan and J-Man Show?
The address is really confusing, so just go to
Click on the link on Twitter, Facebook,
Instagram.
Yep. Tanner's wearing a Book It shirt. Get yourself a Book It shirt. You gotta go like this.
You need to get yourself a Book It shirt, J-Man.
Josh needs to get himself a Book It shirt.
Got a nice Tan and J-Man Show logo on the back.
Josh is also a cheapskate, but you aren't, so go buy some stuff.
But our merch isn't expensive.
It's not expensive at all.
So,
got a Birdie Bogey? As I said, you have a Birdie Bogey question.
I do have a Birdie Bogey question, and it is brought to you by Noble Gnome LLC. 4 MLB players,
oh boy,
active, have over 2,000 career hits.
4 of them.
Name them.
I can get at least 2 of them.
I know you can at least get a par.
Should be able to. I already got two in my head. I don't know about the other guys, but we'll see.
Thought I'd at least give you a par this week.
Yeah,
keep the competition close.
It's very close.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm only one stroke back.
One stroke. Yep.
Yeah. Neither of us are doing very well, but here we are.
Well, you knew the hot streak wasn't going to last too long.
No. Birdie Bogey, as we said, brought to you by Noble Gnome LLC for fresh, locally grown, nutrient-dense produce from Bryce and Katie Romine of Mentone, Indiana. Like them on Facebook, follow them on Instagram, and check out their website, noblegnomellc.com. Their membership has closed on their CSA Prime season membership. It closed on May 2nd, but you could have gotten sweet corn, tomatoes, cucumbers, peppers, onions, potatoes, etc. with their new monthly payment option. It's about $216 a month, and you would have gotten it from July 8th through September 9th. So if you didn't do that, you guys sorely missed out. But get your veggies anyway.
I guess there's always next year, but you can hit them up at the farmer's market. Kosciuszko County Farmers Market.
The owner, Bryce, is a Cubs fan, so he knows the phrase, there's always next year.
You guys still use that phrase?
No, haven't heard that in
I was going to
years,
say
5 years.
That's kind of pathetic if fans are still using that.
We're getting to a point, though, where the streak's been long enough where people are going to start using it again.
No, I wouldn't go that far.
What you want to start with tonight there, Tian?
Let's start with some baseball.
Yeah, Cubs had a real good week. Last week my book of prediction was that the Cubs would get swept by the Dodgers because they had to face Clayton Kershaw, Trevor Bauer,
Yeah.
Walker Buehler, and Cubs just went out there and swept them. They hit the ball real well, knocked Kershaw out after one inning, which is his shortest start of his career on Tuesday. Played a split doubleheader, so I think that helped them out quite a bit because you like your chances a lot better in a 7-inning game against the Dodgers than you do a 9-inning game, which I'm still not huge fan of the 7-inning doubleheaders, but it's kind of growing on me a little bit as part of the new kind of rules they're still trying out, and I think that one will ultimately stick. But yeah, Cubs are hitting the ball pretty well. Pitching staff's gotten a lot better. Kyle Hendricks had a phenomenal start on Tuesday against Kershaw, then followed it up with a pretty bad start yesterday, although due to some pretty bad luck there.
Yeah, you call it the unluckiest inning.
It was insane. In the first inning, the Pirates scored 4 runs. First hit of the ball game had an exit velocity about 89.7 miles per hour. Not bad. I mean, he hit it okay. Adam Frazier did. Next single, 73.9 miles per hour. Cheap bloop single. Then he walked a guy. Then he had a 67 mile an hour ground out that scored a run. Then a fly out, 62 mile an hour. Then a single at 81.9 mile an hour, which I think made it second and third, or I don't know if his base is loaded or not. Then it was single at 70.3 mile an hour exit velocity. Then another single at 54 mile an hour. It was just one of those games you're like, come on, what is going on? Balls were finding holes. Balls were blooping in there. And he ultimately, his line doesn't look nearly as good as the way he pitched, which I thought he pitched pretty well. But Cubs offense kept minute, especially late. Got down 4 runs, 6-2 there in the ninth. They scored 3, and then Javi grounded out with the guy on second to end the ball game. But again, you can't complain about winning 5 out of 6, especially a week after they lost 5 of 7. They followed it up with a really good week. Getting timely hitting, offense, believe it or not, after that first 2 weeks of the year where everyone was like, is this team the worst offense we've ever seen?
Yeah.
They've scored more runs than any team in baseball since April 17th. Problem is they're just hovering right around 500 since then because the pitching has been pretty bad. Starting pitching was pretty good this week. As I said, Hendricks had a good start. Zach Davies had a pretty good start. Trevor Williams had a couple good starts. Adbert Alzolay had a good start. So hopefully the pitching's starting to turn around a little bit. Bullpen has struggled a little bit as well. The only guy I really trust out there at this point is Craig Kimbrell. He's only given up 1 run this year, but he blew a save on Tuesday night due to a home run by Max Muncy. But as I said, Cubs ultimately won the game. Getting timely hitting, Chris Bryant has arguably been the best hitter. I would say he has been the best hitter in the National League this year. He's leading the National League in slugging percentage, and he's 3rd in Major League Baseball. He's 2nd in the National League in homers, tied for 4th in Major League Baseball, and he's leading Major League Baseball in doubles. He's a pretty dang good hitter, and it's just huge that he's off to this huge start, and hopefully they're not going to waste him.
My uncle yesterday was saying how he enjoys the Cubs so much more when Chris Bryant's hitting.
Absolutely. He's a very likable guy as is. Last year was brutal for him. He dealt with injuries in the shortened season, did not produce. The year before, he had a really good year in 2019. But still, for some reason, people were just on his case. I think he set the expectations so high going out, winning a Rookie of the Year in 2015, then winning MVP in 2016. He's dealt with some nagging injuries that have kind of hurt his production, but it's huge that he has gotten off to this huge start, and he's probably a top 2 candidate for National League MVP at this point. I wish he was playing on a better team. But again, huge if they're out of the race by the All-Star break or the trade deadline. Could get quite a bit for Chris Bryant. I'm not advocating they trade him away because I personally want him to sign an extension, but I don't think that's feasible at this point because ownership and the front office clearly want to go in a different direction. But I think it'd be colossally stupid to give up on him Now is he going to get $300 million? Who the heck knows? But having a great start to the year. Javi Baez has really turned his season around. He's the strikeout rate's down, the walk rate's up a little bit. I think he doubled his walk total.
I thought he was on pace for the most strikeouts in MLB history. If
he was
on the pace.
He was struggling to hit balls in the strike zone. Fastballs he usually crushed. He was struggling, but that's kind of switched around. He's starting to hit the ball out of the ballpark. I think he's up to 7 or 8 homers now. He had a huge one on Tuesday night against the Dodgers. They were down 2 in extra innings, and he hit a 2-run homer to tie it with 2 outs, and I think it was the bottom of the 8th, which is still weird to say that's extra innings, but it is.
It is.
He's making more contact, hitting the ball a lot harder, so hopefully that continues throughout the season. Their outfield has just been miserable this year. Jason Hayward.
Because they're missing Almora.
Albert Almora, I'm going to go look up his stats right now. I saw him the other day. He was hitting under 100.
Not good.
The dude's not a Major League Baseball player. He was kind of the subject of
and
my
Schwarber
ire
hitting
for
like
years.
$191.
Schwarber's not hitting well. A guy listed all of the former Cubs outfielders, and like they're all hitting worse than like Jock Peterson is, or Jake Marisnick, I think it was. Albert Almora is 1 for 18 to start the year, hitting .056. He's just bad, flat out bad. But again, Cubs outfield has been terrible. Jason Hayward has been awful. That's been one of the worst contracts the Cubs have ever signed. Love the guy to death, but it's clearly a contract that they should not have signed at the time. He's hitting 173. His bat's slow. He's striking out more than he ever has. He's just been awful. Jock Peterson's hitting 206. He's kind of heating up a little bit. They need him to if they want to do any sort of damage throughout the year. Ian Happ's on the injured list after a nasty collision with Nico Horner last Sunday. Then one of their other outfielders, well, Happ, as I said, he was only hitting 167 when he got hurt. Jake Marisnick was having a great start to the year. He's been arguably their second best hitter so far, and he blew out his hamstring yesterday.
Not good.
He strained his hamstring, which last year he had the exact same injury, and he missed 16 games. So that's not good at all. They're just banged up. As I said, Ian Happ on the injured list. You have Nico Horner, who has hit 389 in 44 plate appearances, as on the injured list. Now we have Jake Marisnick, who I assume will go on the injured list. Haven't put him on there yet, but it's pretty good likelihood he goes on it. They need to get healthy. Jake Arrieta is on the injured list as well, so they're just really banged up. Need to get healthy. It's kind of nice they only have 2 games this week. During the week, they play the Indians for 2. They have 2 off days, I should say, which is nice because I think Nico, Andy, and Happ are both eligible to come off on Friday, and I assume both of them will because both of them probably could have played a little bit through their injuries. But this early in the year, you don't really want to take the risk. But they just have to try to keep winning series. It's going to be tough this week because I know they face Shane Bieber. I believe it's tomorrow night. They're supposed to face Bieber. But then they get the Tigers for 3, and hopefully that'll be a nice light series for them. But again, baseball's been so unpredictable. We thought Cubs were going to get swept last week against the Dodgers, and they ended up sweeping the Dodgers. So that is my Cubs report.
Any Cubs book it related prediction this week? No, he's saving that in the holster for something else.
Haven't thought about it, to be honest.
Well, you better get thinking about it.
I'll figure something out.
All right, save it in the holster for something else.
Yeah. Some more baseball news. The Dodgers are kind of in a free fall
Sure
here.
are.
They've lost 5 series in a row. Trevor Bauer said he's ticked off. He came here to win, and they're not winning, which that's kind of I know he's part of the team, but he pitches once every 5 days, so he's clearly throwing his teammates under the bus.
I think it's an example of the guys reading the press clippings, hearing how good they are, how good they were last year, how they're even better this year, blah, 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 blah. They'll get it turned around.
Yeah, they'll be fine. They started off, they were 14-4, and now they've only won 4 games over the past 2
should have got swept by the Reds last week.
Definitely should have. Thank God they didn't, because the Reds are the worst. But yeah, they'll get it turned around. There's no reason for Dodger fans to worry. They're way too talented not to. But, they're sitting here only 2.5 back of the San Francisco Giants. I don't know if that's going to last at all. White Sox are hot, 19-13. You know how the Royals were winning that division this time last week? They're 3.5 games out and in third place. I don't even know if they won this past week at all.
They woke up.
Yeah, Boston Red Sox continue to win. They're 22 and 13.
Getting tighter up towards the top now.
Yankees, as we thought, have kind of turned it around. Now they're 2 games over 500.
Back-to-back walk-offs over the weekend. Giancarlo hit the game-winning single yesterday, and Gleyber Torres the day before.
Yeah, so they'll be fine. But they have a tough series this week with the Rays, you said.
At the Rays and at the Orioles this week. Rays have I think they've only beat the Rays once this year. Rays have dominated them.
They've dominated the past couple of years, it feels like.
There was an interesting poll the other day on one of the more popular Yankee podcasts on Twitter. It said, as of right now, who's the Yankees' biggest rival? Astros, Rays, Red Sox. Astros were by far first, Rays second, and Red Sox were a distant third.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think I ripped on the Red Sox coming into the year because their pitching on paper looked awful. But here they are with the 7th best ERA in the American League. Bullpen's been really good, so maybe they're surprising people. It seems like every time the Red Sox kind of come out of nowhere and people don't think they're going to be very good, they end up winning a World Series or something like that.
Vice versa. Everybody picks them to be good, they stink. So, what are the other division races looking like? I know they're all pretty close. Of course, it's still early. But.
Right. The American League East, or National League East, I should say. I screwed that up last week, too. Mets are winning that, but they had some controversy. Francisco Lindor and Jeff McNeil kind of got into it, and we saw on camera all these guys run into the dugout to break this thing up. After the game, Lindor gave the most BS excuse I've ever heard in my entire life, that he saw a New York City rat down in the hallway leading to their clubhouse, and Jeff McNeil said it was a raccoon. And that's what they were arguing about. Clearly something different was going on. They were clearly upset at something, and they had to break it up.
Did you see them yesterday? They ended up winning in 8 innings, but they dropped that pop-out that would have sealed the game in the infield.
I did not see that.
Just a routine pop-up, and the guy dropped. The only reason I saw it is Frank Fleming of Barstool Sports is a huge Met fan, and he hates the Mets, even though he loves them. And his reaction, because he was at the game yesterday, was just classic. It was so J-Man-like. They're going to lose now. This guy's going to come up and hit a 2-run bomb, win the game.
They ended up winning 4-2.
He's so J-Man-like when it comes to the Mets.
Yeah, I kind of swing on a pendulum a little bit.
But Frank's that way with the Mets, the Nets, the Devils, not just the...
That's rough for him. Yeah. At least he's not a Knicks fan, I guess.
No, he's Nets.
But the Mets had to put Jacob deGrom on the DL, which is not good.
Yep.
But yeah, that's a little bit of controversy there.
Meet the Mets.
When isn't there controversy of any New York sports teams? There's always something going on.
Seems like the one team that stays kind of out of it is the Giants.
Yeah, Jets are always
Plesko Burris, but besides that, it's the Jets are always in the news. I mean, even their new quarterback's in the news right now.
That's clearly the favorite team in New York.
You're right.
Or in New Jersey.
And they're the ones that aren't as good.
Right,
I feel like
Giants
Mets fans are
better.
Jets fans, and Yankee fans are Giants fans.
That's true.
For the most part.
It is true.
And a lot of them, most of them like the Knicks. Well, now some like the Nets now. Most of them like the Rangers. Some might like the Islanders.
The Knicks
or the Devils
always have some sort of
They are
something
finally
going
decent
on
this year. So I ripped the Knicks more than about anybody in Indiana on this podcast. So I will say I have 8 crow this year because the Knicks are going to be a playoff team.
Yeah, they're the 4th seed.
Yeah, I make fun of them a lot, calling them the most overrated franchise in sports with Dallas Cowboys a close number 2.
I would still say they are. Yeah. It's because they had one up. I think Tom Thibodeau can coach.
Yes, he can.
I mean, it's obvious.
Well, I mean, Julius Randle's a ball player. Derrick Rose is playing well for them. They just have a lot of guys playing well right now.
It's about time. It's been since 2013, I think, since they were in the playoffs. Some other baseball news. Albert Pujols, released by the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. Will a team sign him?
I think so.
You think so?
Yeah.
He's not a bench guy anymore. Or he's a bench guy anymore, but he doesn't want to come off the bench.
He's so close to that. Some milestones, it's like somebody like we were talking about, Rockies. Mm-hmm. Pick him up, let him hit some bombs in altitude, and let him walk off in the sunset.
Have the second worst record in baseball and the worst record in the National League. Let him see how many homers he can hit in the altitude.
Let him sell some seats. They're trying to open it up, I think, as of June 1st, their whole stadium. So
He is 33 homers away from 700. Mm-hmm. He's not going to get there.
No.
I can't imagine a scenario. He hasn't hit 30-plus homers in a season since 2016. He's not an everyday guy anymore. I saw a kind of thing. I did not read it today, but is that the worst contract in the history of sports? The one he signed with the Angels.
It's a bad one.
He signed, I don't want to do math, but, I mean, a lot of money. I'm going to actually go look up his contract right now. He has made, was it a $300 million contract?
I'm going to say it was back in 2011. I remember I thought it was going to be the Marlins.
10-year, $240 million contract. If he was putting up the kind of years he did with the Cardinals right now, and he was 29 years old or however old he was.
He was our age.
Was he?
If he was 29?
Yeah.
That's wild.
He was, man, I wish I was worth that much money. He was 32 when he signed.
I wish I was worth a fraction of that.
If he was 32 years old and just finished a season where he hit .299 with 37 homers, it would have been almost a $400 million contract. Back then, 10 years, $240 million was a lot. Is that the worst contract in the history of sports?
It's up there. I can't think of too many right now off the top of my head.
Since he signed with the Angels in 2012, he has hit .256. He has 222 homers. He has a .311 on-base percentage, a .447 slugging percentage. That is an OPS 300 points less than what his OPS was in 11 years with the St. Louis Cardinals.
And the team hasn't been very good.
He has played one postseason series in 10 years with the Angels, and he went 2 for 12 in that postseason series. It's one of the worst contracts in the history of sports. Back then, it was a no-brainer to give it to him, of course.
The Marlins are going to, too.
I remember the Cubs were mentioned as a potential destination for him and Prince Fielder, because that was the same
Prince,
year.
Forgot about Prince.
Cubs got the much better player in trade for Anthony Rizzo over that time frame. Anyway, not a good contract. There's reason to believe, though. I mean, he's 41 years old, but they say there's reason to believe he could be 46 or 47.
Wow.
So you add 5 years to him being 30. He would have been 37 when he signed that huge deal, if that's correct. No one's ever.
Wild.
But there is reason to believe that's the case.
I am 12.
Yeah. He was the most feared hitter in baseball in those 11 years with the St. Louis Cardinals. 3-time MVP.
What if the Cardinals make a run at him?
I could see them. I can't imagine he'd be on their team because they're playing really good baseball right now. I could see him sign like a one-day kind of deal and retiring if he wants to retire.
I think that will happen ultimately no matter what.
I think it will too. This is the final year of his deal. But he's obviously not producing anymore. I want to look up his stats in his career against the Chicago Cubs. 185 games against them. He hit .297, and in those 185 games against him, he hit 57 home runs. Had a .398 on base. He killed him.
And it would have been so much worse if he stayed in the National League.
Yeah. He hit .344 against the Reds in his career with 47 career homers. He hit 62 career homers against the Astros. Of course, he played against them in the American League West. 42 homers against the Brewers.
In the NL Central.
In the NL Central.
Both.
He hit .360 against the Pittsburgh Pirates in his career with 50 homers.
Took care of his interdivisional rivals.
Most feared hitter in baseball. People still talk about that home run he hit in Houston in the National League Championship Series where you could hear a pin drop.
Yep. Had a college roommate who was there.
He talked about it often.
All the time.
But yeah. I think that's all I got for baseball this week.
I don't have a whole lot to add. You kind of went over all the divisions, so
feels like I've talked a bunch.
You have, but it's good stuff.
Yes, sir.
You were the walking baseball encyclopedia of Fulton County for a reason.
If the Cubs...
Fulton County, Indiana, not Georgia.
Fulton County, Georgia, too.
Okay. I figured there was some Braves fan down there that gave you a run for your money.
If the Cubs lose 2 of 3 or get swept by the Detroit Tigers, it's going to be DEFCON 5 on Cubs Twitter. They're 10-24. 10 games out of the division already. I can't imagine a scenario where they do, but hopefully they don't.
Yep, it went the opposite way you thought last week.
So they'll probably get swept if the trend continues.
Yeah.
But that is all I have, man.
Yep. What do you want to talk about next? Or do you want to do a segment, or what do you want to do?
Let's do On This Day.
All right, let's do it.
Get my talking out of the way. Who won the British Open on this day in 1929?
29?
This guy won 4 Open titles.
Ben Hogan?
Walter Hagen.
Walter Hagen.
Lot of Preakness and Kentucky Derby. 1946, the Red Sox won their 15th straight game, beating the Yankees 5-4. The only runs the Yanks scored that day were a Joe DiMaggio grand slam.
It's pretty good. He was in our On This Day last week.
Man, who won the Stanley Cup on this day in 1970?
1970. Let's go with the Boston Bruins.
You got it.
I did. I pulled that one out of a place.
Bobby Orr scored his famous overtime winner as Boston beats the St. Louis Blues 4-3 for a 4-0 series.
That's
sweep.
wild because the Blues are the first team that came to my mind. I'm like, I don't even know if they were around then.
Yeah.
Well,
that was the Bruins' first title since 1941. They had a 29-year drought. Who won the NBA championship on this day in 1973?
Celtics.
New York Knicks beat the LA Lakers 4-1. Who won the Stanley Cup on this day in 73? Can't believe there was an NBA championship game and a Stanley Cup final on the same day, and both were closed that day.
73. Well, 73. I'm trying to think. Older team. 73. No, don't tell me. I'm trying to make a poll here. Red Wings.
Montreal Canadiens.
Yeah, they dominated the 70s. What am I thinking? In the 80s.
Beat the Chicago Blackhawks. Who won the ABA championship on this day in 74?
Pacers?
New York Nets. Beat the
New York Nets?
Yeah, beat the Utah Stars.
Yeah, I'm not too caught up on my ABA trivia. That's something I need to study.
Charlie Lee threw a no-hitter on this day in 1981 for the Montreal Expos. We saw 2 of them this past week, starting with, I think John Means was first for the Baltimore Orioles.
That was an impressive one.
Yeah, he struck out 13, and it would have been a perfect game if not for the stupid drop third strike rule, which I think is a really dumb rule, to be honest.
Yep.
And then Wade Miley for the Cincinnati Reds and his 85-mile-an-hour fastball. They no-hit the Cleveland Indians. It was impressive.
Did Andrew not say anything about that in Group Me? Because if he did, I missed it.
Oh, he did. I'm pretty sure he did.
I must have missed it.
It was like real early in the morning.
Probably why I missed it.
So, our friend Andrew's a huge Reds fan, which is why we hate the Reds.
Pretty much.
1991, on this day, Oakland Athletics' Jose Canseco is seen leaving singer Madonna's apartment.
One of the Bash brothers.
Madonna loved herself some athletes. She was a fan of Dennis Rodman. She loved famous people.
Yes.
1993, Bill Walton is inducted into the Basketball Hall of Fame.
Someday he'll be in the Broadcasting Hall of Fame too, I'm sure.
He'll also be in the Marijuana Hall of Fame. He likes to.
Very true.
Likes his marijuana. The Chicago Cubs in '97 turned a triple play. They turned one, I think it was last year. I don't remember a triple play in between '97 and last year. I'm
sure there was one.
For the Cubs, I should say.
Oh, yeah.
For the Cubs, sorry. There's been plenty since then. 2002, the Anaheim Angels, they were Anaheim at the time, killed the Chicago White Sox 19-0. They joined 3 other teams as the only teams to beat 2 opponents by 19 or more runs in the same season.
Well, they went on to win the World Series that year. So.
Yes, they did. That was a good team.
Mm-hmm.
Who won the 2009 PGA Players Championship?
Ooh, Players in 2009.
This guy shot a bogey-free final round.
I want to say it was Mickelson.
Henrik Stenson. Swede. Is he a Swede?
Mm-hmm.
Beat Englishman Ian Poulter.
The guy who has a lot of wins. I mean, he has a British Open. He has a Players Championship, but he hasn't won in quite a while. He's kind of fallen off.
I used to play with him a bunch on the Tiger Woods games.
Yeah,
he used to beat you a bunch.
I was never have been very good at the golf video games.
2013. This has involves one of your teams, I should say. 2013. Joe Sakic.
Yep.
Sakic is hired by his former team, the Colorado Avalanche, as executive vice president of hockey operations.
Still is. Of course, then he hired a friend and arguably the best NHL goaltender of all time, Patrick Wall, shortly after that. But Wall only lasted 2-3 seasons, I think, as coach. And then they got Bednar, who's their coach right now, and they're the best team in the league right now. Playoffs are going to start soon. So
weren't they the best team in the NHL last year?
No, they didn't have the best record, but they were very talented.
They lost to the Stars, is that correct?
Yeah, Stars knocked them out last year. Stars made the cup. But I have high expectations this year, so.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they're going to be good for many, many years. They're very, very young.
You've been saying that for a while.
Yeah, but it's kind of scares me. It's kind of like Cubs. Yeah. You got this window. You better take advantage.
You got to win as many as you possibly can instead of just one.
Yep.
Who won the Players' Championship 2015?
2015, Ricky Fowler.
Yes, I knew you'd get that one.
Yeah.
Who did he beat?
He was in a 3-way playoff with Sergio Garcia and Kevin Kistner, and then Sergio got eliminated. Oh, there's 4 guys, actually.
It only says Kistner and Garcia by 1 stroke in the playoff.
I thought there was 4, but I don't remember the other guy. But then Sergio got out quick, and then there's him and Kistner for 2 or 3 holes.
2018, Rafael Nadal breaks John McEnroe's record for successive set wins on a single surface.
You got to be kidding me.
49 on carpet with a 6-3, 6-4 win over Diego Schwartzman at the Madrid Open on clay.
I can't name him more than 3 tennis players.
Right now?
Mm-hmm.
We have
Djokovic, Nadal, and Federer are the 3 I can name active male.
Yeah.
I got nothing. Jason Eisner, I think, is 1.
Is his first name Jason?
I don't know. It sounds right. Eisner, Isner is his last name. Jason sounds right. I'm probably way off.
John.
I knew it started with a J.
It was started with a J, though. That's going to do it for On This Day.
And the On This Day this week is brought to you by, like it is every week, Proforma Print House. If you're looking for a trustworthy, dependable resource for your next trade show, company picnic, or sales meeting, Proforma Print House has over 50 years combined experience in promotional products and commercial print. They strive for a fast and efficient response to all your print needs. You need to look no further. Let them be your one-source print and promotional company by giving them a call today at 574-210-3815. And you mentioned Kentucky Derby, or the Preakness and everything. Kentucky Derby news yesterday.
Yeah, the Kentucky Derby winner, Medina Spirit, tested positive
Roided up
a performance-enhancing drug. And, of course, his jockey was suspended. And I think the owner said that his horse is a victim of cancel culture.
That's what the trainer said.
That's what the trainer said, okay.
Bob,
I just saw it.
Starts with a B. Baffert?
Baffert.
Bob Baffert. I mean, this is not the first time one of his horses has gotten in trouble like this. He's suspended now from Churchill Downs.
Quit cheating. Not cancel culture.
It's going to ruin the sport like it did cycling.
Yeah. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
People were shocked that the Kentucky Derby winner could have possibly tested positive for PEDs, yet the greatest cyclist of our lifetime did.
You know what that horse, if Medina Spirit could talk, it would look at the camera and go, I did not do steroids, period.
I did not knowingly inject myself.
Rafael Palomero.
But, I mean, that's a huge scandal, obviously.
Yeah.
Huge scandal. It's the biggest horse race there is.
Yeah.
My thoughts during it.
Classy sporting events.
What happens to the bets that bet on this horse?
I don't think you can do anything for it now.
I have the answer.
Oh.
I Googled it because that was one of the things that was just in my head all day long.
You were worried about the Triple Crown.
I was not worried about the Triple Crown. Once a race has been declared official, a few minutes after it is over, the betting is final. Winners can collect their cash. The reason is because once the money starts getting handed over, it becomes just impossible to track. Derby bettors have long since folded up their cash, maybe spent it on a round of drinks. And who's going to be the
Mint
person
juleps on the house,
walking up to somebody and ask, hey, can you give me $20 back? The statute of limitations
I know
applies.
people who do that.
Oh, I'm sure. To other kinds of sports wagering. This is from the New York Times. When Reggie Bush returned his 2005 Heisman Trophy 5 years later in the wake of a recruiting scandal, none of those who bet on him to win it had to return their profits. Which that was 5 years later. Entire teams can be stripped of their moments, but bettors cannot.
Wasn't one of your bold predictions for 2021 that a horse would win the Triple Crown?
Yeah, it was.
So that's why I thought you were thinking of the Triple Crown.
I forgot until this moment, to be honest.
So you better hope out that everything comes out clean.
Yeah. In 1968, there was the only other time a Derby winner was disqualified for drug reasons. The case dragged on for 4 years.
Jeez.
Dancer's Image was the name of the horse. It had finished first, had illegal drugs in its system, and that Forward Pass was the winner. So that must have been the one that.
Forward Pass.
So I don't know if they're going to strip the horse.
What would you name a horse? If you had a racing horse. I don't think I'm clever enough to come up with a good game.
My favorite was Hoof Hearted. That was a good one.
That's a good one.
Hoof Hearted. Man, I'm such a copycat when it comes to these. I'm not clever enough. I wish I had one right off the top of the head, but I don't.
No, I was testing you.
Yeah. Of course, the trainer denied it, said he didn't drug his horse. The team did not know.
He looks like an honest guy.
Yeah. The team did not know who might have done it. Somebody gone and sabotage.
The horse grabbed the needles itself and syringes and ejected itself.
Yeah. The theory, when Dancer's Image back in 1968 was drugged, it had been drugged by nefarious characters. This was the theory, anyway, who objected to his owner, Peter Fuller's support for civil rights. That was the theory they threw out there.
Interesting. Interesting theory.
Actually, this is not the last time or the other time a Derby winner was disqualified. In 2019, Maximum Security. Do you remember this? He crossed the finish line first, but importantly, before the results were announced as official, was ruled to have interfered with several other horses. I vaguely remember it.
Yeah.
But yeah, because there was like a 22-minute delay after, and they had to sort everything out. But
we'll have to keep our eye on this story going forward.
A bunch of intrigue down there at Churchill Downs.
Horse racing.
Gotta love it. Timothy Tebow is back in the news.
Tim Tebow, man, the guy who just won't go away.
Will not.
Signed a 1-year contract or a 1-year deal with the Jacksonville Jaguars to play tight end. 33 years old, going to be 34 in August.
This is the position people thought he should switch to.
He might still be in the league without a break if he would have done it years ago.
He could have been in the league for a decade if he just would have done it years ago, but he was too stubborn, too arrogant to do it. He failed as an NFL quarterback. He failed as a Major League Baseball player. He honestly wasn't that good as a commentator.
I'd say he failed as a minor league baseball player. He never.
As a professional baseball player, though, he failed.
Fair enough.
Miserably, I should say. And now he's probably going to fail as a tight end, let's be honest. He's 33 years old.
I mean,
he's never blocked anyone.
He's buddies with the head coach. That's why he's getting his chance.
It's going to be, I will say, it's going to be tough for Urban to cut him.
Yeah.
Because, honestly, I mean, Urban was a really good football coach with Utah as well. He probably would have been just as good without Tebow. But, man, Tebow made Urban's career early on. Of course, I think they won a title with Chris Leak, though.
Yeah, Tebow made contributions as a freshman.
Yes.
But
obviously, Urban wasn't only because of Tim Tebow.
Tim helped a lot, though.
Is Tim Tebow the worst, I don't know how to word this, the worst incredibly famous professional athlete ever?
I got one worse. Anna Kournikova.
She was hot.
Yeah, that's why she was famous, though, but she was terrible. But male-wise, probably, yeah.
I'm trying to think of some other super famous athletes, and a lot of them get famous for bad things and why they're super famous, or they're dating someone super famous.
Chris Humphries.
But honestly, Humphries was in the NBA for a decade.
I know, but that's what you were saying, famous for dating, Yes.
Lamar Odom dated, which one
Lamar
was it?
He was
all-star,
a really
good player.
So
yeah, he was a good player.
He was dating Chloe, who Tristan Thompson currently is.
Tristan's, and he's a pretty good player as well. Yeah. Not bad anyway. It's an interesting argument, though.
Yeah.
Can be made for Tebow. But yeah, he's it'll be interesting to see how long he stays on the roster.
Yep, it will. He's back in. I mean, I just figured he would stop playing sports and kind of right off to the sunset, but no, here we are.
Yeah, he hasn't. I mean, when's the last time you played professional baseball? 19? Was it 2019?
And, I mean, professional football was 2012.
2012. 2019, he in 77 games for the Syracuse AAA affiliate.
He got cut by the Patriots and the
Mets.
Eagles.
Hit 163. Oh, man. That dude was
the last touchdown he's thrown, it was in the divisional or the wild card round against the Steelers in overtime in Denver.
Yeah.
In 2012.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He threw 8 passes for the Jets in 2012.
Yeah, most of them were trick plays, special team formations, things like that.
6 for 8, 39 yards, 0 touchdowns.
Johnny Manziel's another one you could.
That was another guy I was thinking
bring
of.
up.
Johnny was famous because of his partying ways.
Well, and
he was an
Heisman
interesting
Trophy season at A&M.
You could argue that Tebow had a better 1 year than he had a better. He had a better season.
He had a better one season than Johnny ever did.
Yes, than Johnny ever did. Johnny
probably had a better NFL career.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tebow did. But Tebow's obviously super famous. Like, you talk to some casual football fan and they know who Tim Tebow is, and they probably might not know who Johnny Manziel is.
Yeah, Tim Tebow's one of the greatest college football players of all time.
Ever, yeah. It's hard to argue that fact. And now he's going to try to be a tight end. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. It'll be interesting.
I can't wait to follow.
Just another interesting storyline in NFL offseason. I mean, it seems like the NFL every year has some interesting stories. Another one, Aaron Rodgers. I mean, nothing. I don't think anything's going to happen if it does till June.
I agree.
That's when the contract shifts a little bit, some money.
I saw a report today that there's a very real chance he ends up in Denver.
Yeah, I've been reading 60-40 stuff lately. Like, he's got his heels dug in and just doesn't want to play in Green Bay.
We'll see, though. We've seen this happen.
Yep.
A bunch of times, and the player usually ends up back with his franchise. But we'll see. I mean, it's pretty bad there.
Yeah, it's interesting. And if I'm Denver, I try to. I mean, if he's available, you get one shot. You better not screw it up because if you do, your division rival might get him. Yeah, Raiders. Then you're looking at now we got to face Mahomes twice a year, Rodgers twice a year, and Herbert twice a year.
Mm-hmm. They need him. They need him. They need to find a way to get it done.
And I would love to. I still want them to eventually find their future franchise guy. But if I can substitute that for 5 years of what I got a few years ago, sign me up.
Yeah,
I don't care. I mean, I don't care if they're the landing spot for the old veteran quarterbacks. That's fine by me.
Aaron Rodgers is far different than any other veteran quarterback you could possibly get. He's a legend, still playing at an incredibly high level, just won an MVP this past year. Yep. You get him, you're instant Super Bowl contenders overnight. Yep. This episode is brought to you by The Dam Landing. Whether you want an epic burger, hand-tossed pizza, hand-breaded tenderloin, seafood, craft beer, or a handcrafted cocktail, Dam Landing is the place to be, located at 1305 Ewing Road in Rochester. It's a bar and grill located on beautiful Lake Manitou, focused on freshness and quality. The Dam Smoke is here every single weekend. It features barbecues and steaks. In addition, you can wash it down with one of their 16 beers on tap, including a constant rotation of today's best microbrews and domestic flavors, or a handcrafted cocktail made using fresh ingredients. Take in the fantastic views of Lake Manitou in their beer garden or outdoor bar area. Whether it be boats or wheels, the Dam Landing is the place to be, located 1305 Ewing Road in Rochester. I went there on Saturday night and had a phenomenal tenderloin.
What'd you get?
I got the bacon three-way tenderloin. It has bacon on it. It has bacon jam on it. And then it has like a bacon-infused aioli, which is just to die for.
What'd you wash it down with?
I washed it down with a strawberry lemonade. Adult beverage.
With some vodka in it.
Some vodka. Yeah.
Yep. Sounds pretty good. They got karaoke back on Friday nights at 9 o'clock. Trivia's back on Wednesday nights.
Hopefully
So
it'll
quite a bit
start
going on.
getting warmer where they could open up the garage door there to the bar. You can go sit outside, eat some tacos, and drink some brewskis.
There you go. Another thing I want to hit on the NFL before I forget is the NFL schedule release is coming out Wednesday night. They always make a big deal about it, 8 o'clock. Peter Keene speculating that the opening game this year is either going to be Dallas at Tampa or Buffalo at Tampa.
Interesting. I saw people throwing around maybe Miami at Tampa to open the year as well, but I hope not.
That'd put the Dolphins' big spotlight right away.
I hope not.
Yeah.
Too early for that.
But any just wild guess who the Dolphins will be opening up? Will they open up at home or the road?
I don't even remember what division they play the South. Obviously, because I said maybe Dolphins at Tampa. I don't know. I think they might open up with Buffalo.
Yeah, in their division.
Yeah, I think those would be the pride.
Monday nighter.
Maybe. Who
Sunday
knows?
nighter?
I think Dolphins will get at least one Sunday. Coming off a 10-6 season, they're supposed to hopefully take a step forward. I think a majority of people will have the Bills 1 and the Dolphins 2 coming into the year in the division. Maybe Monday nighter.
I bet the Dolphins open with the Jets.
Could be.
In New York.
I hope so. That Brian Flores defense should confuse the crap out of Zach Wilson, so that'd be okay with me.
I think the Broncos will open up on the road for only the second time since 2010. Not only are they due, they did start on the road 2 years ago Monday night at Oakland. It was Oakland still then. But not only are they due, but the day before on September 11th, Colorado's hosting Texas A&M at Mile High. So I don't think they would schedule games back-to-back days. So I'm just throwing out a random opponent. I think they'll be at the Washington football team week 1.
Interesting. That is random.
They play the NFC East. Last year they started with the Titans at home. I don't know. It's just a random one. I'll probably way off, but that's my guess. I was talking with you before we started recording. It'll be interesting to see how the NFL goes about this Aaron Rodgers situation. Do they give the Packers a lot of early primetime games? Then if it's Jordan Love, they might be like, great, we gave them. So I kind of liked your theory. They'll give the Packers a decent amount of primetime games, but later on in the year where they can flex them.
Flex them out, yeah. Especially, obviously, the Sunday night. I don't think they can flex out Mondays.
Not yet, but there was something they were looking into, maybe making that a possibility, but that might be next year.
Yeah.
We do have 17 games now instead of 16.
It is interesting. Starting in 2022, the Thursday night games are going to be exclusive with Amazon Prime. Yeah. So
a year earlier than expected.
I think that's kind of the way the world's kind of turning as far as sports, live professional sports anyway. It's going to be a lot of streaming stuff, but
still the big boys, CBS and Fox. I don't think those go completely streaming until they absolutely have to.
Have to, yep. But
which will be really interesting when it comes that day.
An interesting baseball thing. Sorry to go off track here, but in the new collective bargaining agreement, which they're going to have to figure out here this offseason, they might be able to start trading draft picks. Never had that?
Didn't know they couldn't, to be honest.
Could not. It'll be interesting, and there's a very good likelihood that happens, which I think would be really interesting and create a different dynamic as far as trades, especially at the deadline. So that's kind of an interesting note. Factoid. This episode's also brought to you by Circle 15 Golf. Tanner's got the read over there.
Wasn't ready for it.
It's all right. I threw it.
And I got to put up
it to you.
Put up the banner over here real quick. But yes, this episode is brought to you by Circle 15 Golf, like J-Man just told you. Circle 15 Golf is a brand focused on bringing tour quality products and experience to the everyday golfer like J-Man and myself. It's built on 25 years of tour experience featuring the Genesis glove, the most durable and comfortable glove available, and the patented Glove Hub, the first and only glove humidor on the market. Find these products and more details at circle15golf.com. They got divot repairs. They got ball markers. They have hats. They put out a sneak peek of some hats they're working on their story. Shared it on on their Instagram. I shared it on our Tan and J-Man Show story on Instagram late last week. Some camo designed hats that are really cool looking. So nice. Look for those in the near future at circle15golf.com. That glove's getting me close to breaking 80. Shot 81.
Nice.
Saturday, so we're getting there. We're getting close.
You're going to shoot your career low this year. I can feel it.
That'd be 73 or lower. It's been a long time coming.
You want to do word association here?
Yeah.
You kind of gave me this idea last week. At least you said your dad gave you the idea. But I was thinking of actually doing But sports movies, I have just a few here that I think you've seen. But starting with Rocky.
Adrian!
Yo, Adrian! I thought that's my weight.
Yeah. I was thinking that or running up the stairs.
I'd like to see you run up the stairs.
I'd love to run up those stairs.
A League of Their Own.
There's no crying in baseball.
There you go. Tom Hanks.
You know, I've never seen that whole movie.
I don't know if I've seen it from start to finish either. Field of Dreams.
If you build it, they will come.
A lot of
classic.
A lot of quotes here.
That's all. It's the first thing that's coming to my head.
Miracle.
Do you believe in miracles? Yes. I've only seen that movie once.
I think
I own it. And I've only seen it once all the way. It's a long one though.
Yeah.
It's like 3 hours long.
Yeah. Can't believe that was. I believe that was Al Michaels that called that.
Yeah, well, it was young Al Michaels.
Man, he's called some cool sporting movies. Moneyball.
Billy Bean. Jonah Hill, I should say. Brad Pitt. Yeah, good movie. I haven't watched that more than 2 or 3 times.
I love that movie. How can you not be romantic about baseball? It's one of my favorite quotes. Hoosiers.
The scene where they measure the 10 feet from the floor up. Classic.
Caddyshack.
So many. Carl. I mean, oh man, there's so many good ones. Carl's got so many good lines.
We were listening to the radio today, and
that movie.
The guy on the radio said, "Seems like everyone's met Bill Murray before." We haven't met Bill Murray.
Spalding's an underrated character in Caddyshack.
I'd love to meet Bill Murray.
Judge Smales' grandson.
Happy Gilmore.
Shooter McGavin. A lot of the lines I can't say out here, so I'll keep it family friendly. But another one of my favorites.
8 Men Out.
Never seen it.
You've never seen 8 Men Out? Crap.
Nope. So that's why I'm saying never seen it.
That's the one about the Black Sox scandal.
Yeah.
It's a good.
I've just never seen it.
Major League.
Wild Thing.
Charlie Sheen.
I've seen that. I've seen Major League 2 more times than I have seen Major League 1, though.
Really?
I own Major League 2.
Oh.
But I don't watch DVDs very often anymore. So
not many people even own DVDs. I'm sure they own them, but they don't.
Could
really
be
watch them
worth something someday.
Yeah, I'm keeping mine. I'll tell you that much. Dodgeball.
If you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball.
Knew that was coming.
Man, I remember watching that in an Indianapolis hotel room with my parents for the first time ever. My dad was crying. He was laughing so hard when Gordon gets hit by the car twice. Dodge a car, you can dodge a ball. I'm okay. Next car takes him out.
Sandlot.
Oh, man. You're killing me, Smalls. There's a lot of good ones. That's one of the best
movies. Saw on MLB The Show, a guy created the Sandlot ballpark. It's one of the ballparks on MLB The Show 21.
It's awesome.
And he recreated Ham Porter's home run.
It's a really good documentary on that, on the filming behind the scenes. MLB Network plays, but
hard to believe that was.
It's got everybody except Benny the Jet because he's
been in some trouble.
Hard
to believe that's come out almost 30 years ago. Rookie of the Year.
I forget the guy's name, but the
Rosenbacher.
Yeah, the whoever plays him. He plays Marv.
He plays Marv.
In
yeah.
Home Alone.
Daniel Stern.
Oh yeah,
that's his name.
That guy's classic. Hot ice. Heat up the ice cubes.
Forgot my seats.
He gets locked in the. Yeah.
Remember the Titans.
Strong side, left side. That's my favorite movie. So
it's
one I have to watch every year around football time. But Ryan Gosling's not a good safety.
No, he was a liability in the secondary. Your second favorite sports movie, Rudy.
He was offsides.
He was offsides. I knew that was coming. That is on this day this week.
Good list. I like that list. I'm glad you went that direction instead of like movie characters, sports movie characters.
I thought about doing movie characters, but I'm like, sometimes you probably wouldn't know.
I wouldn't associate the character with the movie.
I'd have to tell you who the character was.
And the word association segment is brought to you by Rhett Lee, attorney at law. Rhett Lee and the law office of Andrew Akey, LLC, are located at 206 4th Street in Logansport, Indiana. Rhett provides legal services to the people of North Central Indiana and practices criminal defense, family law, and personal injury. If you need a lawyer who cares about your results and will fight for you, call him today to schedule a free consultation at 574-722-2221.
We have about 5 minutes left. Is there anything else you want to hit on?
One more thing.
I still have to do a bucket, by the way.
Yes. Your guy, Rory McIlroy, finally snapped his year and about a half winless streak on the PGA Tour. Got it done yesterday at Wells Fargo Championship at Quail Hollow. Third time he's won that tournament. He made it interesting, though, in the final hole. Tried to lose. I had already texted you in our friend group that he won because he was up 2 going into the final hole. He's hitting 3-wood. He's not hitting driver, Hooks it. There's a creek left that goes from tee to green. He hooks it left of the creek. It bounces right towards the creek. His ball's actually in play but in the hazard. But such a bad lie, he goes ahead and takes the penalty stroke. Knocks it on the green. 2 putts for the 1-stroke win.
The 1 week we don't pick golf.
Yep. It was cool to see the crowds. I mean, the crowds are coming back in golf. That's why I think we're seeing Rory play well all of a sudden. He even admitted he plays better when crowds are there. He thought he would enjoy the peace and quiet without the crowds. Said it was absolute opposite.
Interesting.
PGA Championships in 2 weeks. Book it. Could be Rory's time. We know what the book it will be that week. But cool to see Rory get a W. And my guy Rick just can't make the cut. He was tied for 4th on Thursday with 2 holes left. Bogey. Absolutely terrible Friday. Missed the cut. He's in action again this week. He is got an exemption to play next week in the PGA Championship because he's like 122nd in the world.
Man.
He is just I don't know. He's just not good. Right as of right now, he's not a good golfer. And I just can't figure it out. But one other note about this weekend's tournament, Bryson DeChambeau thought there was no way he was going to make the cut after his final round on Friday. Flew home,
yeah.
Found out he made the cut, had to fly back at like at 2 a.m, and then he played.
He was in contention.
Played really well Saturday and got himself back in contention. So
how did he think he wasn't going to make the cut?
At the time when he left, the cut line was projected. I don't know what he was, but it was projected 3 or 4 strokes. Wasn't even too close. And guys struggled so bad in the afternoon when it got windy that the stroke, the cut kept moving back, and he made it on the nose.
This will be the J-Man's Book of Prediction of the Week. You know how we said the Dodgers were in this bad stretch?
Yes.
I don't think they lose a game this week. They play.
Nope.
They're back at home, played the Mariners for 2, and then the Marlins for 3. I think they win all 5 this week. J-Man's Book of Prediction of the Week brought to you by Indiana Farm Bureau insurance agent Travis Watering. Life, home, auto, renters, business, workers' comp, and farm insurance. Contact Travis at 219-869-4561. His email is travis.watering@infb.com. He can sell insurance in Ohio, and he has an app you can check out.
And we thank him for being our one of the sponsors of our podcast for many years now. All right, J-Man, Birdie Bogey. That was brought to you by Noble Gnome LLC. 4 active MLB players have over 2,000 career hits. Name all 4 for a birdie, 2 for a par.
Albert Pujols.
Yes.
Miguel Cabrera.
You got yourself a par.
I have no clue who the other 2 are. I was thinking maybe Starlin Castro, but there's no way.
Nope.
2,000. It's probably going to make me mad when I see it.
I think so.
Oh, man. I didn't do a very good job of thinking this week. Who is still active that has over 2,000? Does Jose Altuve have 2,000 yet?
No.
I didn't think so. Shoot. One more. Robinson Cano.
He is one of them.
He is one of them. The other guy. Trying to think. 2,000 career. Who's been around for a long time that has 2,000 career hits? Man.
10 seconds.
I've got nothing.
Yadi Molina. Good job, Jay.
Wasn't even thinking him. What a terrible baseball player. He has 2,000 hits.
Probably make the Hall of Fame someday.
He definitely will. I'm going to have to try to talk people into believing he's not a Hall of Famer because he's not. He's the worst offensive player ever.
Well, wrap us up with that chipper mood you just ended this
Thanks
episode
for
in.
watching this Yadier Molina podcast, clearly. The Tan and
I do
J
have like golden red on.
Man Show. Get yourself some merch. Book it merch. Especially have a great week, everybody. We'll be back at it next Monday to talk some sports. See y'all later.